Doctor Who Summer Falls, written by Amelia Williams. About the book. When summer falls, the Lord of Winter will arise. In the seaside village of Watchcombe, young Kate is determined to make the most of her last week of summer holiday. But when she discovers a mysterious painting entitled The Lord of Winter in a charity shop, it leads her on an adventure she never could have planned. Kate soon realizes the old sea cape, painted long ago by an eccentric local artist, is actually a puzzle, and with the help of some bizarre new acquaintances, including a museum curator's magical cat, a miserable neighbor, and a lonely boy, she plans on solving it. And then, one morning, Kate wakes up to a world changed forever. For the Lord of Winter is coming, and Kate has a very important decision to make. Summer Falls by Amelia Williams. First edition, 1954. When summer falls, the Lord of Winter will arise. Chapter 1. It was the last week of the summer holidays, and Kate was in a temper. She banged around the kitchen until her mother told her to stop. "Why, Kate, why?" Kate sighed. She was sighing a lot lately. "Because, Mother, you are so untidy." Kate's mother glanced around the kitchen, and she knew her daughter was right. It was still full of packing cases with half-washed dishes drying on cardboard boxes. "I'm not untidy," she said hotly. "I'm really going to get this sorted out this morning." "Probably. Now, it's a lovely day. Why not go play down by the shore?" "I would rather stay in and help you." Kate did not like starting one thing before another was finished. "Just go off and have fun." Her mother flicked her with the one tea towel that had so far come to light. Kate stood outside the house. It was a pretty old cottage with roses growing up to the thatched roof. It was all very nice, but it did not feel like home. The estate agent had explained that the old owner's possessions had not yet been cleared out. Kate's mother had vowed, "Don't worry, we'll soon have it shipshape," and then done nothing about it. Kate sighed. She made a resolution not to sigh any more. It was not getting her anywhere, and Kate did not believe in pointless activity. She looked down the hill at the small town of Watchcombe, itself a jolly little monument to pointless activity. Twice a day, a steam train deposited holiday makers from the camp in the next bay, and they filled the winding streets, buying sweets and postcards and ordering teas. The beach was already scattered with families walking up and down in the sunshine, from the pontoon to the lighthouse and back, and, if they were speedy, doing it again for luck. Rowing boats set out from the small harbor. They went out a short way, did nothing much, and came back. It all seemed quite pointless, and yet Kate could hear everyone calling happily to each other. Kate could not see how they felt. 7 days, she thought to herself gloomily. A whole week until school started. New home, new town, new school. So much uncertainty. Kate was determined to get something done in the little time she had remaining. 7 days, although the bright morning was nearly gone already, so she would have to adjust it to 6.5. Kate thought about walking into town and perhaps catching the next train. She jingled the coins in her pocket and considered this as an option. True, Minehead had a better stationer's, but buying a new rough book was simply admitting that no matter how hard she tried to prevent it. School was going to happen. It was at this point that something unplanned occurred. It was the first in a series of unplanned events that would change Kate's life completely. A gray cat ran across the front lawn and paused, staring at her, about to vanish into the hedge. Kate did not own a cat. She rather wanted one. As the cat appeared to be waiting for her, she made an exception to her rule of no unplanned activity and followed it. It slipped nimbly through the hedge, and Kate pushed after it with a little more difficulty than the cat. It is true. There was a moment when the branches crammed in around her, and she wondered if she was stuck. Then she fell forwards, like a cork from a bottle, onto the grass, at the feet of a man.
"Hello,"
he said.
"What brings you to my lawn?"
Well, Kate's mother had taught her to be unapologetic. Your cat was trespassing in my garden. I am returning the favor.
"That's a fair point,"
admitted the man, helping her up.
"Although it's not really my cat. Cats don't belong to anybody."
Kate studied the man. He was tall, thin, and friendly. She caught herself hoping he taught at her new school. If he did, she decided, she'd like school a bit more. "I'm Kate Webster," she said. "How do you do?" The man laughed and bowed.
"Then you're welcome to my grass, Kate Webster."
The cat weaved around their legs. The man bent down to scratch its ears.
"I say, Kate Webster,"
he offered.
"do your ears want scratching too?"
Kate shook her head. "Who are you?" she giggled. To her surprise, the man shrugged.
"Not anyone, really. I'm just looking after the museum for a friend. I guess you could call me the curator. How does that sound?"
He looked at her eagerly. "Not very good," admitted Kate. "Don't you have a name?"
"I'm between names at the moment."
The man looked sheepish.
"I am having a holiday from them."
"Can you do that?" asked Kate.
"I'm seeing how it works out,"
admitted the curator.
"Do you really think I need one? What do I look like? A Montmorency or a Keith?"
"How about Barnabas?" suggested Kate. It was the name of her teddy bear, and she thought more things should be called Barnabas.
"Barnabas!"
The curator seemed delighted.
"Never tried that one. Let's give it a whirl. Tea?"
He led her down the side of the house, which seemed very nice, if a little boarded up, to the back, where some garden furniture was arranged around a large striped canvas tent. The man vanished inside it, coming out with a tray heaped with cups, plates, scones, and ginger pop. He rested it gently on the paving by the cat, which was cleaning itself. "Why do you keep your kettle in your tent?" she asked.
"Oh, that's not a tent."
Barnabas had adopted the air of a man with a great secret.
"Inside there is my shed. It's undergoing repairs."
That seemed an odd thing to say, but Kate's grandfather was very protective of his shed. Perhaps Barnabas was the same.
"I would give you the guided tour, but it's not finished,"
he said, confirming her suspicions as he handed her a plate.
"Cheese scone with sultanas in. I changed my mind halfway through."
The cat looked at Barnabas wearily and then sniffed the milk jug. Tea went rather well. Barnabas listened to Kate's plan to do things before the end of the holiday and sagely suggested she draw up a timetable. He said that, if nothing else, it would take a while to do.
"Failing that,"
he said,
"you could pop into my museum."
He caught the look on her face.
It's really very nice. though not on Wednesdays. I close it and spend the day going up and down on the steam train. I like trains.
Kate wasn't entirely convinced.
Don't you like it here?
The curator sniffed.
How odd. The 1950s aren't that bad. And this is a charming town. The kind of place you want to settle down and open a little shop with an E. I love a little shop. Have another scone.
As Kate left Barnabas's house, the gray cat watched her go. It looked on the point of saying something, but then, like most cats, it never quite got around to it. Kate stood in the lane, brushing crumbs from her pullover. The church clock struck noon. She was happy that she'd achieved something with her morning. A cool breeze swept in from the sea, reminding her that summer was nearly over. She walked down the lane, wondering if she could make friends with the boy next door before lunchtime. That'd really make something of the day. It wasn't an unqualified success. The boy next door was sat outside the garage, mending a bike badly. He was quite handsome, but looked very sad. His misery increased when he caught Kate looking at him. "Hello," she said. "You're Armand, aren't you?"
Yes.
The boy scowled.
But you probably shouldn't make friends with me, you know.
What? Kate seemed genuinely puzzled. "Is this because you're Indian?"
No.
Armand laughed.
They're all right about that. No.
He paused sadly.
It's because my father kills people.
"Oh," said Kate. She wondered what else to say. By the time she'd thought of something, a little too long had passed. Armand flushed and went back to work. She stood there awkwardly, watching him mend his bike, and then went home for lunch. End of chapter 1.